Welcome to the toe shaping video of the State Street Socks pattern for Fiber Forward's Give a Stitch series. I'm working here with 3 DPNs and I have already separated my stitches and rearranged them. So on my first needle I have 15, second needle 30, third needle 15. I put a stitch marker between my second to last and last stitch just so it doesn't fall off here. But this will mark the end of my round just for my own remembering of that. So the toe shaping is going to be about 1.5 inches long before we do the 3 needle cast off. And what we're going to do is 3 different rounds, and we're going to repeat those for nine sets of them, so 27 total rows. And our goal is to have remaining on needle 1 6 stitches, needle 2 will have 12, needle 3 will have 6 stitches. So I'm going to knit through rounds 1, 2, and 3 right now, and then I think I will continue on just to do the whole thing with you, might as well, while I'm here. So let's get going. So round 1 is really the one that we're going to focus on, the knit 2 together. So if you haven't done knit 2 together, you're going to want to check out our video for knitting 2 together. So we're going to knit to the last 3. The way I avoid ladders in socks is not to tighten the first stitch, but to tighten that second stitch. So I pull that kind of tight, and then I'm just going to continue working. Maybe I won't do all these rows with you because you might get pretty bored of me doing this, especially how slowly I knit. So we'll go through it once. So we're getting to the last 3 stitches of needle 1. So we have 3 here. We're going to knit 2 together and then we're going to knit 1. So we're going to go to this first stitch here, the second stitch, and we're going to go under the second stitch and under the first one in here, and then knit as if it's just 1 stitch. Pull through. Oh, good grief. That's okay. I didn't get it all the way around here. Let's try again. Ah! Around and through. I knit so tightly that makes it difficult sometimes. And then knit 1. And I've been really shaky today, so that's just my apologies on that. Needle 2. We're going to knit this first stitch here. Knit the first stitch, slip 1, knit 1, pass that slip stitch over the knit stitch, knit to the last 3, and you don't necessarily have to do 1.5 inches. It's up to you. Just measure how long your toes are. Generally speaking, 1.5 inches is going to be good for all of us. And you'll learn the more socks you do how long you want that to be if you want to modify it at all. Another way is while you're working your sock, you can put it on and just see how it's fitting you. And if you need to decrease or add rows, you can do it at that point. Just kind of up to your personal preference. Almost there on this needle too. Okay. So now we're going to do this same ending here of the knitting 2 together and then knitting 1. So we're going to get this in here. I'm trying to do it to, here we go. Knitting 2 together. And then knitting the 1. Cool. Now we're going to do needle 3, which is knitting 1, slipping that stitch, knitting another 1, passing this over. And I'm going to knit to the end of the needle. So you'll notice on needle 3, you're decreasing by 1 stitch each round 1. On the needle 2, you're going to decrease by 2. So it'll be nice and clean. Okay, so now I have to get rid of my stitch marker. Actually, I'm going to leave it on. Okay, so that's round 1. And then I don't think you need me for rounds 2 and 3 because all we're doing is knitting all stitches without decreasing. So you just go as you normally would through 2 more rounds of knitting. Use the chart on the pattern to keep track. It's really the only way I know how to keep track well is I still tick boxes off and I have my own little methods. So what I set out here are little tick boxes, and then you can also count stitches along the way just to be super sure. And I will meet you back for the end of our pattern where we're going to cast off and then we will have a sock. It's so exciting. Okay, happy knitting.